mouse. Let me try that again. No pun intended. Apples to apples. I always have chapstick with me. Well, hey guys, welcome back to another video here in Social Ground Media. We're happy to have you. Come, take a seat, stay a while. This video we're doing is actually a little bit different, but one that when I got the idea, I was just kind of excited to make this video. And this video is my everyday carry for 2025 on everything I carry around with me to be an effective social media manager. I know that this video won't really reach my normal demographic, but I think there might be some people who might find this interesting, but I find it interesting, so I want to make a video about it. So the first thing, and probably one of the most important things that I carry with me for my everyday carry as a social media manager is my phone. Because at the end of the day, my phone can do a lot of the posting and everything, and the double checking, replying to comments, replying to DMs. My phone can do most of that. Before you say every social media manager can just do it on their phone, no, there's a lot of other tools that we use here to be effective at our job, but this is the bare basics of what you need to get started and to, reply to comments and DMs and stuff. That being said, kind of like a 1A or kind of an asterisk on the phone is I actually have a second phone that is just a work phone because Instagram limits the amount of accounts that you can have on one phone, and so obviously the solution is just get a second phone. So we got another phone for that, but it also helps because I pass this phone around on the team and they can log in and do stuff as well, and it's not just me and I'm not handing my personal phone to everyone. So we have a company phone, personal phone, and of course, for the record, both iPhones. Now the second thing kind of along the same train of thought as the phones is AirPods. AirPods are extremely valuable because I have these with me everywhere. I never know when I need to hop on a call a client, ask them how to respond to a comment or a message, have a client call me telling me, hey, we need to get this done, or we need to change this, or we changed our mind on the messaging of this or whatever. Wherever you go, you don't want to be one of those people on speakerphone, and a lot of the times you need your hands free too. So, AirPods. And I guess to double down on the AirPods part, since we do a lot of video editing and a lot of things that require a lot of intense focus, I also have the AirPods Max. Again, staying with the theme of Apple, staying with the theme of phones here. The AirPods Max, it's like you could be in a super busy area, super busy environment, and then you hit that noise cancellation button and it just transports you into the presence of Jesus, and you can just block out everything and just focus. Pretty amazing. They are pricey and they are a little bit outdated, but let me tell you, they were worth the price. I don't know, that's a hot take apparently. AirPods Max are worth the price. I can just tell you that right now. They're worth it if you need them. If you need them, and if you want the simplicity of just apples and apples. No pun intended, apples to apples. Anyways, iPhones, AirPods, the bare minimum, the essentials, I always have those with me. Because I carry a lot of stuff, I need something to carry all that stuff, which is my backpack of choice, which is the LTTstore.com backpack. This is the OG backpack. It is the one that is $250, and let me tell you, it is worth it because so much more than $250 worth of tech goes in the backpack, and this is well made. It protects it. It has really nice zippers. I know the company LTTstore.com or Linus Tech Tips, if you know them, YouTuber, they came under a little bit of controversy for that backpack just with their warranty, but let me tell you, I've never had a problem dealing with them, and that backpack was worth every single penny. So now, one of the other things I use quite a bit in my everyday carry, always have with me, is my trusty laptop, which is the MacBook Pro M1 edition. This is one of the first laptops they released with the Apple Silicon chip in it, and this is still the M1. I haven't upgraded yet because that's how good this laptop is. I haven't needed to upgrade. They're on M4 now, and I'm still rocking the M1. In fact, the rest of the team here, they use MacBook Airs with an M2 chip, and those even destroy anything that we try to do. We do a lot of video editing, a lot of graphic making, some After Effects, and these computers just handle everything perfectly. So MacBook Pro, always have that. And kind of in line with the MacBook Pro, if I want to go into a meeting and don't want to have a whole laptop around, I have the iPad Air with the M1 chip in it. And this this is, I don't even scratch the surface of what this M1 iPad Air can do, but one thing I really like is the amazing keyboard here. Like, this is incredible here. This is such an amazing piece of tech, and I don't know, I'm probably gonna get, you know, comments of like Apple shill, whatever. I drink the Kool-Aid of Apple, but you know what? Not to quote the great Steve Jobs, but these things just work. And when you're in an industry like this where every second you do matters, I'm running a company, I have a team, running a foundation, and every second matters, I don't want to deal with like compatibility, whatever, workflow, speed, battery life. I just want devices that work. And if I have to pay a little bit more for those devices, so be it. Apple products, gotta love them. They work for me. If they work for you, great. If they don't, it's great. Different things work for different people. Apple just happens to work for me. And with the MacBook Pro and the iPad Air, I also use the MX Master mouse. Let me try that again. And with the MacBook Pro and the iPad Air, I also use the MX Master mouse. This is an amazing mouse. It does everything I need to do. It's relatively affordable and it's pretty ergonomic and it works well. Now, one thing I always have with me that some people forget about is storage. We do a lot of video projects here, we do a lot of graphics, and so I always have storage. So this is actually a custom built, it's like I got the enclosure, got the drive, put it together myself. So this is a custom built editing drive. It's 8 terabytes, and I pretty much always have this with me. And this has almost everything I'm currently working on. We actually have a server called Deltron that's an archive server. It's in an undisclosed location, but this is where we basically back up all the archives of everything we do. And so pretty much every project we do, we have a copy of it somewhere all the way back to like 2016. It's crazy when I was working solo on things. This is what I use on the day-to-day for current projects that I'm working on. And it's 8 terabytes, so I never have to worry about space. When you're shooting with cinema cameras or like large cameras or even FX3s and doing log footage, it can take up a lot of space. So 8 terabytes is enough for all ongoing projects that I have. That in line, sometimes I want to pass off a project to someone on the team or a friend, you know, a contractor that I have, or I want to pass off a product, but I don't want to hand my entire 8 terabyte drive to them. So I usually have a smaller Samsung SSD drive that I use for just kind of transferring files back and forth between people. I just throw it on here. Samsung SSDs are reliable. That's the T5, which is cool because if you're using a Blackmagic camera or an ATEM, it also works to record directly onto that hard drive. So it's kind of multifunction and it's pretty cool. So I usually have that with me. The next thing I have is a little, you know, it has a funny name, but it's called a tech stack. And again, LTT, you're kind of noticing a theme. When I like a brand, I usually try my best to just stick with that brand. I usually just try to stick with it, and they make good products. I usually go, so this is to go with the LTT backpack. This is the LTT tech stack. So what I have it here, and it's, you know, this is overpriced, but like I said, rather than try to find the best thing and save 20 bucks, I'd rather just buy the more expensive thing that I know is gonna work and just kind of be done with it and move on. So what I have in here, and this is stuff I always have in my backpack, I have an Anker dongle. I'm not a huge fan of Anker as a company, but their products are amazing. I have usually a USB-C cord. I have an Anker power brick, which is fast enough and good enough to charge my laptop, but it also has multiple ports on it, so that way I can charge my iPad too, or my phone, depending on where I am. I have a long USB-C charging cable along with the MagSafe MacBook Pro cable. And then I just have, you know, just some different wires, USB-C stuff. You never know what you're gonna need. But that is what is in the tech stack here. It's chargers and things I just have all around. You always bring chargers with you, man. It saved my butt multiple times. So that being said, another thing I have on me is I always carry 2 pens with me, always. So this, can you guess it? It's not an Apple pen. It's a LTT pen. So this is the LTT mechanical pen. Actually a really cool, really tactile pen. Can also be kind of like a fidget toy, but just a really well-made pen. And I liked it, and they're on sale one day, so I got one. And then I always have a colored pen with me because I like color coordinating things when I take notes, when I take physical notes. I like to see separation with colors, so I always have a normal pen and a colored pen with me all the time. And this is kind of cool. It's like a marker slash pen. So I always have these things with me for when I want to take physical notes, which is more often than you'd think. So the last thing in my backpack that I keep is, again, LTT screwdriver. So I have the LTT screwdriver with me, all the bits I need in it. and it's ratcheting. You'd be surprised how often I take this screwdriver out and actually start using it for something. Normally, I am pretty glad that I have it, but one thing is I have the LTT backpack, which has a special pocket that fits the LTT screwdriver really well because, you know, same company, it just works. And so I normally forget that I have this, which can actually be kind of a problem if I'm going on a plane, because I don't want to bring this on a plane. It's actually kind of a problem because it's so slick and I forget that it's there that I need to make sure to take this out before getting on a plane. And then there's just a couple more things I carry on my person as an everyday carry that I don't leave the house without. This one's a little bit more personal. I always have chapstick with me because I hate when I go to a meeting and I have chapped lips. I always have chapstick with me. And then I always am wearing a watch. And I actually really love Omega watches. They're not too flashy, it's not too in your face, but they're quality watches. They're great. This one here is actually the Seamaster, and I really like this watch. It was a gift to me by a really close friend who actually makes custom watches, and he had this watch laying around. It's not a custom watch, but he had this watch laying around. He's like, hey, I know you're getting into watches. I really want you to have this one because I don't want you to buy a cheap watch. I want your first watch to be good. And so he gave me this watch, and I really love this watch, but it does more, honestly, it does more than tells the time. What this watch does is, one, it creates a statement piece on what you're wearing, and like, you know, I always respect someone who has a nice watch, and I can see it. Not everyone does, and that's you know, to each his own, but I always respect someone when I see them with a nice watch. But the difference between this type of watch and an Apple Watch is, with an Apple Watch, I tend to be tied to my notifications, and it's always beeping my wrist and everything. And yeah, you can turn that off, but then what's the point of having an Apple Watch if you're just gonna turn it off? I also like challenging myself because in a digital world, we're not always reading manual clocks. And so I like to challenge myself by like making sure I can read this at a glance too, and not just the digital watch. You'd be surprised how many people 30 and under have a hard time reading manual clocks. And then the last reason why I prefer nice watches over like an Apple Watch or no watch is it's a conversation starter. Someone else who's up, you know, and likes watches, they'll ask about your watch, and then you'll start talking about watches, and not only is it a fun conversation, but if it's a potential client or partner, you have something to talk about now. You have something to discuss. You have, it's kind of like a icebreaker entry. And one thing is, if the person you're trying to sell on something likes watches and has a watch, and you also have a watch, that's a great way to get in with that person. So that is my everyday carry for 2025. I got my phone, I got my company phone, my laptop, my iPad, AirPods Max. I got a pen and a colored pen, a hard drive, a screwdriver, a backpack, and a watch, chapstick, all that stuff with me. I definitely saved the most boring one for last in that list. That was kind of funny, but I have all those things, and I just love the fact that all these things just solve a problem that I have, and they make me an efficient worker no matter where I am, because I always have these things. So whether I'm here in the office or whether I'm out at a coffee shop or at a meeting, I have everything I need to be an effective social media manager to anywhere that I am, as long as I have stable internet. So that's what it is. I will see you guys in the next video.